Welcome, guys, to another weekly trading review. My name is Andre, so let's get right into it. All right, so I started the week on Tuesday, actually, so no trades on Monday, so let's check it out. Tuesday was a gold trade. Let's move on. Okay, 4 hour looked bullish. Okay, so we had these kind of bullish closures on the previous candle too. So bullish here, right? So we tapped this area, but it doesn't mean that we are going to stop right there. All right. So if we have confirmations on a lower time frame, it's okay to trade like this because we also have clean range to the left. All right. This is just a minor resistance, or at least I consider this a minor resistance. Okay. So yeah, 4 hour was bullish. Let's move on to the 1 hour. The 1 hour was bullish too at resistance. Okay. This was, I think it was NYSE open. Yeah, we'll see. 1 hour was bullish too at resistance, and yeah, I took it. Oh, actually, it was bearish. Yeah, actually, it was bearish because I took it on this one, right? I took it on this 1 hour. The previous one had closed bearish below support. Not the best lower wick though, but yeah, the next one went up without the lower wick. All right, so we got to be careful with these ones. Not the best 1 hour too. All right, so this 1 hour was still opened. Okay, so yeah, let's check the 30. Okay, so the 30 gave us a fake out, right? So 30 minutes we closed below this support here and below this resistance too, and then the next one closed back up again. All right, and guess what? The other one went down, made a huge lower wick. All right, if the 1 hour wanted to go down, why did it stop there, right? Why did it break these lows, right? So it made this lower wick, and now it was rejecting it and breaking its own high on the 30. All right, so you see the resistance here, it's marked on this yellow line. This was my partials. All right, so I don't know if this candle is going to go up even further, but I'm securing something here and then moving my stop loss to break even, and we'll see. I had my final TP up here on this resistance to the left. All right, so let's move on to the 15. All right, and we had a 15. Okay, so this is interesting. So we had a 15 celery with a pack runner graph. All right, so why would price close like this, bullish celery, after breaking the previous lows if it didn't want to go up, right? So that was the confirmation right here. I had partials on this resistance and wick fill, letting the rest run. I remember what happened on this trade actually. So yeah, like I think my partials were hit like 5 seconds before my final TP. The price just went up like crazy. Okay, so yeah, that's a W right here. That's a W. Great trades. Not the best 1 hour though because of the bottom wick, but with this pack runner and the celery and price closing above this area still, like this is just everything aligning on the lower time frame. All right, we can ignore with volume. Okay, this was NYSE open actually, maybe 50 minutes later. So yeah, with volume, a lot of volume time here. So yeah, we trusted the volume too, and yeah, W trade. All right, moving to the second trade. It was an oil trade on Wednesday. It was a loss, so let's check it out. All right, so the 4 hour was bearish. Okay, so we had these 3 bearish candles. The last one had closed below this support on the 4 hour and left a wick to fill, right? So great 4 hour closure for the sells. Okay, so I took the entry on this one, right? So yeah, that was my entry right here after it made the high for the wick fill of the previous candle. Okay, so 1 hour it closed bullish, but guys, look at this. There's no top wick. All right, what do we know about candles that close with no wicks? There's no range for the next candle to go. All right, so at that point it's 50-50. All right, I also give the example on my live stream. So let's say there's a tunnel here and there's right and there's left, right? And then I go in. This is me. I go in and I turn left. So now I'm here, right? And now you go after me and you want to find me. So now this is you, okay? This thing on the ground, I left stones on the ground for you to know which way I took. So once you get here, you know, right? So it went that way. So imagine there's no stones. So I chose left, I went left, but I didn't leave any stones on the ground. So now you come at this point and, well, where did I go? You want to meet me, right? So at this point, it's 50-50. You can either get it right or get it wrong. That's the same thing as a wick. A wick is the stones that this candle gives for the next one, right? So that's the example I give for you guys to understand what wicks are. And if you guys want the technical definition, basically a wick on a higher time frame is a range on the lower time frame. So basically this move here, where price went up, on a higher time frame, it's going to be a wick, right? So that's a wick, basically. A wick is a range. So this candle closed without a top wick, which means there's no range for the next one to go. There's no stones for the next one to follow, right? But it doesn't mean that it won't go up anyway, right? I can go left without the stones in the tunnel example. I kept this 1 hour closure without a top wick in mind, and that was an extra confirmation for me to take the sales too. All right, because most of the times what happened is candle goes up, makes that high, and then rejects, right? And it ends up looking like this. I've seen that happen many times, okay? Because there's no range to the left, okay? So moving on to the 30 closed inverted celery right here. So we had the rejection on the 30. This is the 1 hour closure, by the way. And the rejection on the 30 closed inverted celery, and I waited for this to wick up, and and it broke the previous lows, and I got in. Okay, and also if you look at the 15, we also have a 15 onion, right? 15 onion right here, it broke the previous lows, and with a 30 inverted celery. One thing I'm going to say though is the next screenshot that I took, like if you look to the left, there's a support right here on the 30, and also it was on the 15 too. And look where it closed. Right here, it closed above. Okay, I think now that I look back that this was a great trade where, you know, things aligned. So yeah, it made sense in a way, as you can see, obviously after it went down. But you know, I only saw this support after I was already in the trade. So I think I kind of rushed this trade. So yeah, I think this support would have kept me out of the trade at the time if I had noticed it. All right, it is what it is. It's a great trade anyway. Yeah, maybe I would have taken it. I'm not sure. All right, I'm just looking at it now, and I can realize that this support right here and this candle closing above might have been it. Might have been the reason, right? It went up a little further and then went to my final TP, but of course without me in it. And that's okay, that's gonna happen. I can live with it, I don't mind, all right? It's just a trade, and I say it all the time. A trade never makes the trader. What makes the trader is how you respond to the outcome of that trade, all right? And I responded fine, right? I didn't revenge trade. I didn't take another one out of, I didn't enter on this break of the lows here because it's not the plan. If it had closed below, that's another thing, but it didn't. Okay, so I have to follow the plan at all costs. And that's what I do, and that's what a professional trader does. Okay, so moving on to the third trade. It was on a Friday. Great trade. Yeah, Friday trade, bank holiday though. So there's no room to be greedy. Take your profits and get out, right? So previous 4 hour candle closed massive bullish, right? Massive. I was on this bearish one. Okay, price went up, tapped this target right here to the left and started to reject. Okay, at this point, I remember this trade. I don't normally trade the last 15 minutes of the 4 hour. Okay, very rarely I actually do it. Okay, I did it this time because everything aligned perfectly, and also I went against the trend, if you notice, because again it was the last 15 minutes of the 4 hour. So what were the chances that the 4 hour looking like this? On the last 15 minutes, it reverses and ends up looking like this, right? So what are the chances that price does this in the last 15 minutes? Very low, very low. So yeah, I was against the trend, but I believed that the 4 hour wouldn't flip on the last 15 minutes. And now you'll see the lower time frames, okay? This was the 1 hour. So the 1 hour, we closed bearish on this candle, formed the resistance, and then wick bullish, right? This one closed wick bullish. And my entry was to anticipate the 1 hour to close below the support, forming a range to sells, all right? After it broke the previous low, that was the idea, okay? On the 30, look at this, the 30 closed below this support right here with a wick to fill too, all right? Closure below on the 30. So it's basically a breakout. Bearish closure, breakout on the 30, wick to fill. This candle broke the previous low after the pack right here. Okay, so pack runner also broke the previous highs, maybe activated some buyers here. And yeah, it reversed, broke the previous lows, and that was it. So let's see on the 15. Okay, so this looks great on the 15, right guys? So we had this resistance right here, okay, which I didn't mark because, you know, I don't need that many lines. I can obviously see this resistance. We had this breakout too, and the next one broke the previous highs, like we saw on the 30, and closed back below, all right? Celery with a pack, all right? Celery closure with a pack. I want you guys to understand that for a minute there, this candle looked like this, okay? So for a minute, this candle looked like this, was breaking the highs, breaking this resistance, and it rejected all the way down and closed again below this support, okay? So that was my entry. This was this candle right here, the last 50 minutes of the 4 hour, right? Now, you guys ask me, yo, Andre, why didn't you need a better top wick than this? Yes, it is a top wick, which is not the biggest, you know, but if you look to the left, there's this candle right here that gave us the pack. And why is it relevant? I explained it on my live stream too, but I'll give you a hint, okay? So this candle right here, my confirmation candle, was the second part of the 30 minutes, right? And on the 30 minute, if we have a closure, like let's say if we have a closure like this on the 30 minute, pretty bullish, right? And on the 15 minute, it looks something like this, okay? For example, like this, all right? So basically what it means is this high is this high, this closure is this closure, okay? 30 minutes, 15. So now the next 15 opens up, which is the next 32, right? And it wicks up a little bit and starts to go down on the 30. And on the 15, what it's gonna look like this. Now, let's say the first 15 minutes go by. So you have a closure like this, boom. Maybe some of you will take the sells on the break of this low. You wait for maybe a top wick, and when it breaks this low, you take the sells here. What you don't understand is that most of the cases where you are against the 30 minute, you gotta be careful, right? If you're taking a trade on a 15 minute against the 30, you gotta be careful because that entry right there can just be the lower wick of the 30 and it wants to go up, healthy 30, healthy bullish 30 closure, all right? And what is gonna look on the 15, it's gonna be looking like this. So yeah, it tapped you in and it wants to go up, right? Because of the 30. And now you're trapped in here with the sells, okay? But let's imagine the other scenario that the 15 looks like this with this wick, okay? So at this point, the 30 broke the previous highs, rejected, and now it's starting to come down. That's another story, all right? Because if price wants to go down, price has no business breaking its own high again, right? But it can break this one and still respect the previous one. Does that make sense? So that's what the pack is. The pack here broke the previous highs right there. At this point, I don't need this candle to have a huge top wick. This one already broke the previous highs, activated buyers, and came back down to close below the support. All right, so I know there's a strong resistance around here. Okay, guys. So that was the trade. Okay, great trade. Not the perfect time for me. I'm not used to trade that time, but you know, when everything aligns like that, we gotta do it. We gotta do it, right? Let's move on to the last trade. Was on a Friday too. Okay, so the previous one was pre-London, pre-London, and now this one is actually London trade. All right. Very close to the previous one. Okay, we took this on the live stream. The 4 hour was bearish. Okay, so it went down. I think it went down first. Yeah, it went down first, made this wick, and then went back up, made the high, tapping that resistance, and it flipped, right? It flipped the 4 hour on my entry. Okay, so I was expecting the 4 hour after making that great high to flip and to continue going down, being the previous one bullish. I mean bearish, sorry. Let's move on to the 1 hour. All right, the 1 hour closed inverted celery, not the best closure for the sells, but I want you guys to notice that yes, it closed inverted celery with this rejection wick, but it closed below the range, right? It still closed below support. So why didn't price close like this? Because obviously there's a strong area here. Okay, there's a strong area there that's full of sellers supposedly, and it didn't let them. It didn't let price close above that support. So yeah, it closed inverted celery for the bullish side, but below support. Okay, so now the next one wicked up and started to break its own lows, right? Okay, so the 30, as you can see, it closed strong bullish. All right, strong bullish on the 30. But the next candle, it wicked up, rejected this resistance, and started to break its own lows. So what this candle did on the 30 was this: it made this low right here. Okay, it went up until this, respected all these highs, and started to come down. So it closed. At the moment it was looking like this, right? And broke its own lows. Okay, so that's where I, try to anticipate this move down. Okay, obviously it didn't happen. It had other plans. On the 15, yeah, this playbook setup was an inverted celery. Okay, this 15-minute wicked up, tapped this area, and broke the previous lows right here. So it was looking like this. It broke the previous lows right here. That's where my entry was. Okay. And why is it a good trade? Because we already have a rejection wick here. So rejection wick here, and now with volume, this is London Open, by the way, with volume, if we break the previous lows, I'm expecting price to go. Well, maybe bank holiday had an impact on that, maybe not, who knows? All I know is I like the trade, I took it, and yeah, I accepted the outcome even before I took it. So yeah, one thing I could have done differently though, but again, we only say that after the outcome, right? If it was a win, I wouldn't say it, right? But one thing I could have done differently, and I know some guys on the stream did this, is waiting for the bearish closure. Yeah, waiting for the bearish closure. So now you have an onion. Rejection here, onion, you wait for the top wick, and this trade is even a better one, all right? Doesn't mean that the one I took was a bad one. Normally it works, otherwise I wouldn't take it, right? Normally it works with London Open volume, the break of these lows for price to go down. Today I was the pack, right? Today, so basically what happened was this grabbed the pack, aka me, and went up. It's going to happen from time to time, right? And I ended the live stream saying this doesn't matter, it's just one trade. Okay, this is just one trade out of thousands you took and thousands more you're going to take. And again, this is just 1 week, of 1 month, of 1 year, of 1 decade. This is nothing, guys. Okay, so you got to understand that there's a bigger picture here. There's a bigger goal, a bigger vision, and one trade means nothing. And you can only grow if you start to accept your losses, because if you don't accept your losses, that's the window to make a mistake. You try to get the money back. Your mind now is you don't even follow the plan. So if you accept the loss, it goes smoother. All right, so accept the loss, and my advice for you to do that is use our detached size. Okay, guys, nevertheless, great week, and yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week. Have an amazing weekend.